All right, and we are back. We've got a very needy Lulu. Her mom is currently not here, so she will be making many appearances. We're making picks this week. I believe I'm kicking it to Jesse to get started here, correct?
Yeah, we're going to talk the Bears game from Sunday Night Football to kick us off, obviously, with this being Chi-Town Lowdown. Just kind of a general summary of the game, at least from my perspective. The offense really struggled. I think the first drive was promising.
What?
The first drive was promising. It looked much better than they did in week one.
Yep.
Caleb looked more comfortable. He made a few good throws on that drive, but that Houston defense, especially the front seven, was even more formidable than the Titans that we saw in week one. So, I don't think that this loss is any reason to hit the panic button. I do think that there is definitely room for improvement, of course, but I think Caleb played better. The offensive line, that's where most of the improvement needs to come. But, overall, the defense played well, held Houston's potent offense to 3 points in the second half, and just 19 points for the entire game, only giving up one touchdown. So that is huge. And I think facing those two defenses at the front end of the season is going to be paying dividends in the long run, especially with our next three opponents, the Colts, the Rams, and then the Carolina Panthers. Those three teams have been the worst against the rush this season so far. So
Indy might be the
if
worst.
we can –
Indy might be the worst, I believe. I think I heard someone say that.
I watched their game last week, and it was bad. They couldn't
play. Did they not play New Orleans week one, though?
Indy played Houston in week one.
Oh. Okay.
And then they played Green Bay last week, which Matt LaFleur did a great job. Matt LaFleur did a great job game planning with Malik Wilson. Willis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Malik Willis at quarterback. They really leaned heavily on the run game. So I think that we need to lean into that. We need to get some pressure off Caleb, get some play action going. And that's exactly what I think we're going to do moving forward. But in terms of this game against the Texans, overall, I think, a young quarterback at the helm, a new offensive coordinator, we're going to see some growing pains here. That's exactly what we saw. So, I'm not hitting the panic button. I think this is just part of our development. I think if anybody looked at these first two games of the season, the expectation was we were going to be 1-1 coming out of these two games, right? So that's where we are. And now we have a great opportunity to hopefully pick up a few wins these next few weeks. So that's where I'm at right now. That's kind of my thoughts on the game. Tom, I'll pass it over to you.
Okay. So my mind this week has been all over the place because we should have fired Eberflus, to Caleb looked better, to we can't run the ball, to our offense line stinks, our defense is really good. And it was like, am I watching last year? Like our defense just keeping us in and our offense not producing. And it was tough. I was in a tough place a couple days ago. I've kind of come back to reality. The Texans is a good football squad. And I got to realize that. And I need them to play again. I need the line to be like, okay, at like just not 7 sacks. Like that is crazy. And he was just running around. We got to protect our number one pick, dude. It's just like, and then our offensive play calling was I didn't like it. I didn't like what we were doing. I'm going back to we need to run the ball more. I said that last week. I'll say it again. Play action like you said. And then I go back to also Luke last year saying build up trenches, and we didn't do it. And now look where we're at. So, I'm pretty optimistic still, but it just gave me some flashbacks of last year. It's just like, come on. I need more. I need more for the offense. Defense, great. Loved it. But, Luke, what do you think?
Jesse touched on the first drive. I don't remember it. I was seeing red, and I don't really remember most of the game. I just remember being wildly upset. You've got to be able to protect the quarterback. It's crucial, especially with a young guy like Caleb. If he's getting no time, and
he did look better this week, in my opinion. Like, he did seem like he was less antsy in the pocket when he was in the pocket.
The one thing that showed to me for him this week was his toughness. I mean, to get up after each of those sacks and hits, which he was taking on what seemed like every single play, showed a lot of toughness. I mean, it takes a certain amount of, drive to just continue playing in that game. He could have just been like, no, it's a hammy. I'm not going back out. I can't continue to get my brains beat in. But he didn't do that. So I thought he showed a lot of physical toughness going through what he went through in the game the other night. He is also, I think, as a result of the offensive line's inability to protect, we're seeing kind of what we had seen previously with Justin, where it's people are like, you have to be able to read defenses in the NFL. Well, you can't read defenses when if the defense sends 6 guys, your offensive coordinator's like, I'm going to give you 5 to block them. It's a numbers game, guys. Yeah. They're sending 6. Okay. Yeah. They're sending 6. We have 5. So, and they just, anytime they send 6 guys.
Every time. Not disguising it at all. Like just.
Yeah. It was very easy to see when those blitzes were coming. Yeah. It's not like the Texans were trying to, disguise them too much, putting a lot of guys in the box and kind of playing this disguised game, kind of like what you saw from Minnesota and Brian Flores, like where you don't really necessarily know where the blitz is coming from. That's one thing for a young guy. But what it seemed like to me, and maybe I'm just, maybe I don't understand it like I think I do in my mind, but again, to me, it seemed obvious when those blitzes were coming and we were just like, nope, we're going to try and protect him with 5 guys. And if they send more than that, we'll just let him get run over. And that really impedes your offense's ability to call plays that develop down the field, use in-breaking routes, which we never see. We just see these screen passes and 5-yard hitches and nothing vertical except on 3rd down when you're throwing up a Hail Mary. Again, I was kind of seeing red during that game. Obviously, the defense did a great job of containing and keeping us in that game.
We had a final drive that we could have taken the lead.
Yeah.
We
had the ball with the ability to go down and score in the game somehow. And that's all a testament to how well defense played. But got to do something schematically on offense where, we are protecting him a little bit better. I mean, the offensive line is a spot of weakness for us. That's you can't deny that, right? But you can do things with your scheme and running more, 2 tight end personnel, keep those guys in blocking, and don't run routes with your tight ends. Chip everything with your running backs and just do every single little thing until maybe we see a little more comfortability with the offensive line.
You know what we should do?
Do it themselves.
We should adopt Navy's offense and just really just pound down people's throat in 4 downs,
You need a good offensive line to do that, though.
What do you think, Wargo?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're spot on. I mean, I was calling for Shane Waldron's head, especially does have a little extra salt in the wound, being that Could have had Clint Kubiak, perceivably. Not that any of us were calling for him. I think, we liked seeing the development in Geno Smith there. So Shane Waldron made sense for a lot of reasons. So, but, when you flip a coin, it can land on heads or tails, and we got the wrong one there. It looks like
right now it's still early.
True. Yeah.
We're 1-1. It's still early.
Well, and that's the thing too. But like to that point, Tom, early in the season last year, we had a lot of guys that were injured on the offensive line, and we were playing like quite a few men down. Sure, we've got Ryan Bates and Larry Borum both on the IR there. But I mean, we've got mostly our starters on the offensive line for the most part. So
not having Keenan Allen hurt.
I mean, to some degree, but I think where you wanted to see more from the offensive coordinator, and maybe it's on Caleb, but when they're bringing 6 guys, like you said, Luke, that is a mismatch. We've got a guy who is wide open perceivably. So you don't need that much time to find a wide open receiver on the field, in theory. I never found Cole Kmet, aside from like the 2 catches that he had, I think, maybe 3 catches. That's been insane to me that we're just feeding Gerald Everett as opposed to Cole Kmet that we just paid. And I mean, we've been seeing mostly good things, except for when he just got absolutely exposed by, I believe was it Willie Anderson Jr. actually? I want to say Danielle Hunter because I see him in my nightmares still. But it was one of the 2 of them. But I mean, he's been very good for us, and I think he's gotten, handful of targets this year, which is tough to see. But yeah, I mean, not having Keenan Allen, plantar fasciitis, kind of one of those injuries that you're not really sure of, which is particularly scary where, if he goes on IR next week, I feel like that's just as surprising as if he were to play next week, right? Like, I don't know shit about plantar fasciitis. I mean, he's not playing. No.
I don't think he's playing this week.
But yeah, I mean, we've got to have the offensive line move forward. I think I was listening to some radio station in Chicago, a 3-digit radio station, but they had Mark Schlereth on, and he just completely took over the show to the extent where they were having to like interject to like cut him off on points that he was making because he was, similar to Luke, seeing red and just so fired up about how poorly the Bears offensive line played. And I mean, we were just, again, play calling could have been better. We could have established the run, had the guys moving downfield instead of just dropping back and pass protecting every time. Luke, like you said, the first drive that we drew up was great. It was really impressive. There was a few other drives in there that I didn't mind. But when it comes to play calling as the game progresses, how do we not adjust for bringing the house every single time? I mean, it wasn't a mystery to anybody. Like you said, we're watching it. It's like they're going to bring 6. They're going to bring 5. They're going to bring, and they're not, again, doing anything exotic with these blitzes. It's just straight up just beating us because they don't have to do anything exotic. It's been working and we're not adjusting. So just keep beating the hell out of them. So, I mean, it was really a frustrating game to watch in that regard. But again, with what Jesse said, not hitting the panic button too early here. I'd like to see a lot of things change. But I think, we're 2 games into the season, and that was kind of my point earlier. I think it might've been off the show. It could have been when we were recording, but we're 2 games in. So whoever's the worst run defense, whoever's given them up the most yards, who have they played up until this point in the season, right? It could be a completely different story. They're very, very cognizant of that issue, as we are very, very cognizant of our offensive line issues. So expect to see adjustments there. I think it's going to be a bit of a dogfight in that game. But, yeah, I mean, as long as we're wagering what's going to happen, we can move on to the picks unless you guys have something else.
Houston's going to be one of the top. I mean, they looked so good. So
and we lost. We covered. We beat Vegas. I lost.
Yeah. Yeah, we can get into picks.
That was a push, wasn't it?
It was a push.
I think it was. Oh, it was. Okay, I thought it was 6.5. Sorry.
It might have been. It might have moved to 6.5 by pregame, but it was a push from when we did our picks. I will say, yeah. I mean, I agree with Tom. Houston, they're 2-0 in their division. All 3 other teams are 0-2.
I just made so many great points, and you just agree with Tom out of the gate there. What is that?
I agree. I agree with what you said as well, Wargo. I'm sorry.
Unbelievable.
Tom had spoken last, so that was most fresh in my mind.
I have spoken. Okay.
I'm looking at PFF here. One thing I'll bring up, which is a little worrisome.
What was our O line last? No, I'm saying 28.
I'm looking at a more specialized statistic here. So this is deep passing, 20-plus yards downfield. Caleb Williams is tied for the third most attempts in the league currently with 9 on the year.
Interesting.
He has 0 completions. He has also 4 turnover-worthy plays. So
he's hit a lot of guys in the hands.
Yes. I mean, his receivers don't seem like they're helping him out to this point in the season. Roma Dunze could have come down with that ball in the end zone.
I think it all just builds upon itself.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of you can't protect, right? So you can't
get one opportunity
you can't on the unpredictable downs say I'm going to take a shot here, and then on the downs where it's 3rd and 17 because you just took 2 sacks. Another thing is penalties. Very sloppy game. I think he had 10 penalties.
We were 3rd and 6 the entire first half. Sorry, that was something that was pissing me off. Is every time I looked at the clock and the downs, 3rd and 6. It's like how do we get to 3rd and 6? And there's no way we're converting this. So I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah. So as bad as the O-line has been, I think in pass and run blocking, they're somewhere in the teens after the first 2 games in terms of where they're falling in the PFF grading. What's standing out to me again, as I said after the first game, is the position players. We are tied for last as a receiving core with the Carolina Panthers, and the running grade is also, I want to say, bottom 4 of the league.
I feel like
our running backs are not breaking tackles. They're not being elusive. And our wide receivers aren't getting separation and coming down with contested catches. So that's something that I think is going to change as the comfort level increases with the offense. So again, I think don't press the panic button yet. Give it time. These next 3 games are going to be a great opportunity for this offense to develop. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
I'm looking for just like, give me a good, just run 7 yards, just come back, just hit it. A nice 5-6 yard, just shot, catch, get some yardage, run. Then we have a run pass option. Just like I don't see him hitting the middle of the field, just the short routes. Like,
I mean, he's got a high percentage on those passes. I feel like those are like the completions that you like to see, where it's just like, a few yards downhill.
I just don't see him enough.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think we were talking about that in the first half, or Chris Collinsworth was talking about that in the first half, where it's like, get the short completions, get the confidence up, get the ball rolling. Which, like, to what
I'm saying more like in the middle of the field. I feel like I don't know.
I agree. I don't and Borgo. I don't think we're attacking the middle of the field a lot, and we need to be able to do that. That's what you see the comfortable quarterbacks, the quarterbacks that execute at a high level do in the NFL. The quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, the quarterbacks like Brock Purdy when he doesn't play Minnesota.
CJ Stroud did against they're competent offenses. They don't move the ball 3 yards at a time. They don't. They get chunk plays. They're able to, either lean into whatever their strength is. If that's the run, they lean into that. It opens up, I forget what they call them, big chunk plays and play action, or just allows you to buy a little more time because they're not sending the house at you every time and they want to drop more guys into coverage. And if you're able to read coverages, there's less guys rushing. Now you're looking for those openings in the zones, and it's again, it all kind of builds. We have to block better. We got to give them more time. I one thing you all have mentioned is just the fact that we're 1-1 right now. If you'd asked most anyone prior to this point in the season, most people would say, yeah, we should be 1-1 at that point, with some interesting games coming up that we could take advantage of and hopefully set ourselves up for a better record.
Get some momentum going.
All right, speaking of momentum, let's move on to picks.
I have one more. Why was Jalen Johnson covering Tank Dell?
Yeah. I agree.
side.
He needs to be. I think he stays on one side, but Tyreek Stevenson is obviously the weak link. In a matchup where they have a guy like Nico Collins, Jalen Johnson needs to be following that type of guy around the field.
Yeah, that was tough to see.
I just don't think we're going to see that. Like you said, Jesse, it's our defense is one that you own your side of the field, it seems like. I mean, there's probably small exceptions to that, but there's lots of defense. There's lots of defenses in the league that are like that, where you play your side of the field, and if their best receiver is not lining up on that side of the field, that is going to be something that you have to your secondary
fair, yeah,
player at that position has to be able to step up and guard their best receiver. And honestly, Stevenson, I like Stevenson. I think he's a physical corner. And I think long term, I like having them there, but they're just that offense, especially with their coordinator, like talk about opposite ends of the spectrum, Slowick versus Waldron or Nagy or Getsy. Like it's just night and day again, like with the play calling and just taking advantage of maybe the other team's deficiencies or scheme. We don't have the ability to do that right now. So
did they have was it at 4th and 1 and they had CJ Stroud pull a handoff and dump the pass over? Was that earlier?
The tight end rock went out.
I don't know. They were
wide open and got 15 yards.
They were just loving the play call there. Yeah. I think he did pick up a huge amount, but then we had a very similar play later in the game. It's 4th and 1. They just packed the box against us and we just ran it right into him and got fucked. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Why didn't we have that exotic play call where they thought outside the box and did something that was unexpected? No.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Let's get off the Bears. Let's just get
All right. So picks last week. Bringing up the tail was Luke, 4 for 15 on picks.
You gotta wear that. You gotta wear that, Luke.
Yep.
Cumulatively,
I was not seeing the board well.
Seeing ghosts out there.
Cumulatively on the year, Luke's now 11 for 30. Wargo and Tom tied with 7 out of 15.
Okay, better than I thought.
Wargo is now at 13 for 30 on the year. Tom is at 16 for 30. And
why'd you just do that?
I like the week.
What's Luke for the year?
11.
11 for 30. I said his. And I was 12 for 15. I missed 4 games, but I did get an extra point because I locked in Tampa Bay.
I gotta be better with my fucking locks this week.
That brings me up to 17 out of 30. So feeling pretty good. Let's see if we can carry that momentum.
That's enough about that. All right. Yeah. So we're gonna do Tom's gems real quick, and then we're gonna get to picks because we just drug ass through our Bear segment. We
are really, a Bear
chapters. Shout out to me for doing the chapters. You're welcome, everybody.
Yes, thank you, Wardo.
Like and subscribe. I got your first one for you. You ready?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm getting good.
Green Bay at Tennessee.
Okay. Will Levis is absolutely a train wreck. I mean, his coach is hating him. So there's some turmoil in Titan Nation. And then, is Love back this week?
He practiced today.
So. Where is it at?
I'm still seeing him as doubtful at the moment.
It's in Tennessee.
I think Love will be out, yeah.
Packers minus I feel like they're gonna do higher. Like I want to say -3, but I'm gonna say Packers -4.5.
Okay.
Borgo, you want next? You want me to go next?
I've got a couple I'm kind of teetering on, so you can go ahead. I'll see if you take mine.
Okay.
Don't beat yourself up. You don't know that.
I'm gonna go with Detroit at Arizona.
All right, Arizona coming off a butt whooping. They butt whooped LA.
Yes, they did butt whoop them
at home.
Yeah.
And then Detroit coming off a loss. I still think Detroit is favored by 3. No. 5.
I like that better.
Yeah.
3 to 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think people think that Arizona's good.
Didn't Detroit lose to Las Vegas? Who did they get beat by last week?
Tampa Bay.
Same thing. Damn.
Okay. Detroit 5.
All right. Gosh, coin flip. Sure. We'll do Jacksonville at Buffalo. I think this is my second time picking Buffalo game.
Jacksonville is absolutely trash right now. They have nothing. I had to drop Christian Kirk.
Stop.
And I was like,
Luke's gonna get mad at you talking about T-Law.
You dropped Christian Kirk. I need to go grab him.
Dude,
yeah, that is insane.
I dropped him. It's just a bad offense. Get off of there. Buffalo. Where's it at? Sorry.
It's at Buffalo.
At Buffalo.
Oh, dude, Buffalo by 7.5.
Okay.
Tom, just stick to your first instincts. I'm just telling you that right now. You had mine, and then you switched to 5 without anyone saying anything.
Damn it.
Yep.
We're on the right track with Buffalo against Jacksonville. They're -5.
Okay.
That one was -5.
Surprising
and then what yours was Green Bay at Tennessee, Jesse?
Yeah.
-4, I said.
Again, on the right track there, but Tennessee is favored -2.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Tennessee's trash, dude.
Well, apparently they're favored. All right.
They got beat by
Let's jump into it. First game on the slate tomorrow night, New England at the Jets. -6.
Jets.
I'll start it off here. I'm gonna pick A-Rod and the boys.
Hey, that's my fantasy name.
I just think it's at home. Is it their first home game?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that place will be rocking. New England's tough, and I've been picking them. I just think that defense is going to create some turnovers, and they're going to get the win. Yep.
This is a big spread. 6 points seems like a lot for how well New England has been playing. They took that game against Seattle into overtime last week just to lose it, but they still covered. So they've covered both weeks so far. It's a divisional matchup.
Those usually tight.
I do like the progression of the Jets' offense. Seems like the offensive line played better last week. Seems like Rodgers played better. But I'm gonna go with New England. I think the Jets win, but I don't think they win by a touchdown. I think they win by less than that.
Such confidence bias here. Just riding the hot hand, picking an insane pick like that. I would love to see a Sad Salah. I feel like I can picture a Sad Salah, being that it's a divisional game, like you said. But it's a divisional game. It's at home. Jets are going to show up. Give me the Jets. They got a great defensive line, right, Luke?
Dude, Salah's head is so.
You mean Xerxes from 300?
They do have a good defensive line on paper, but I think that they've been lacking a little bit in that area. I haven't watched a ton of their games. Just kind of caught a few quarters probably over the first 2 games with Sunday Ticket, have them on the quad box. It's really an interesting challenge for your brain to have to train your eyes to watch 4 games at once. But I'm trying. I'm doing that every Sunday and really just digging in, watching as much football as I possibly can. I'm with Jesse, though. I like New England here. You've got, with Mayo being the new head coach there, as a former Patriot, I think he gets these guys up for first division game of the year, and an opportunity to make a game of it. I agree with Jesse. I think Jets probably pull it off, but I do like New England to cover.
God, I could see like a late field goal or something. What's the weather supposed to be like out there, Tom? Any reports on that?
Well, quiet weather throughout. Well, let me look because there is a cold front coming through.
You look just so you get us the next game.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
Yep.
So Chicago heading to Indianapolis. Colts are -1.5. I think I think the Bears cover here. I think they're going to get the run game going. DeForest Buckner just hit the IR. They're a little weakened up front because of that. And we already touched on how they've given up the most rushing yards through the first 2 games. So I think that the Bears lean into that. They switch up their game plan a little bit, focus on the run, and give Caleb a little bit more protection. And I think the defense continues to play well and, gives Anthony Richardson some problems who may be lacking in confidence after that game last week. So I'm going to take the Bears here.
I feel like you got to sprinkle some interception bets on this one because he has been very inaccurate as well. And we've got
Hey, you're talking about my fantasy quarterback, right?
Yeah, that was insane.
You need to stop sprinkling in general.
Yeah, fair point.
Call you the donut.
Pretty sure the Guardians game did go my way. Not gonna lie, I was all over that earlier. But yeah, that's a fair point, Luke. But yeah, give me the Bears here. I think it's shaping up for us to come back and make a statement here. At Indy, would love to see them. Maybe even alternative spread -6.5. Sprinkle.
Hopefully there's a lot of Bears fans and Lucas Oil Stadium come out.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see a good show out. Yeah.
Tom, you're on the Bears. Tom's on the Bears.
That's how.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Bears as well.
Let's go.
I think they do bounce back. I think the offense has a lot to go into meeting rooms this week and be like, stop doing this, right? So against in comparison to last week versus Houston, an inferior opponent, I don't want to say they're inferior to the Bears. I think we're kind of in similar situations with a young quarterback trying to figure it out right now. I think this is a winnable game for us. So I'm going to go Bears.
And it's like Sunday Night Football, pressure at the Texans. We're coming back to a noon game. Chill.
Chill.
11 o'clock, but yeah, chill.
Denver at Tampa Bay -6.5.
Oh, God. I like Tampa Bay here. The primary reason being Todd Bowles' defense against a rookie QB. Obviously, Tampa Bay's played fantastic the first couple weeks, and their offense is really clicking with Liam Cohen and Baker and Godwin, who seems to be like Godwin of 3-4 years ago. He seems a lot healthier. I can't remember if last year was his first year off his knee injury, or maybe if it was his second year off his knee injury. I can't remember for certain, but Godwin has looked really good. Mike Evans doesn't appear to be aging. Has looked great.
You know how he does that? He takes every other play off.
That's true. He does come out of the game a lot. It was a miracle I did not draft him in fantasy this year. Mariah that was the first thing she asked me when I finished all my drafts. Did you take Mike Evans? Because I'm good for Mike Evans in one league every year. And that is a very frustrating player to have on your fantasy team when you're just like looking for him on the field at all times. And he really is like, if he runs a route past the first down mark and he doesn't get the ball thrown to him, he will not be in on the next play. He won't be in there. But he's looked great. He does, I was expecting some sort of regression and like kind of thinking in my head, like he looks old, but in that game last week against Detroit, he looked great. So give me Tampa Bay 6.5.
Yeah, for them to come in to Detroit and beat them, I'm higher on the Bucs now. I'm a Baker believer. Baker
maybe
Baker for MVP. You know, what are the lines on that?
Baker MVP.
Wow, that's probably a good line to look at. I'm gonna pull that up right now.
That's worth a sprinkle for sure.
Yeah, if he stays healthy, that's the.
I'm also a Baker believer. For all the
your
reasons.
babies share the same birthday.
Yeah, they're pretty close.
Baker higher than I was expecting. He's at plus 2,500 right now. Okay. So a $10 bet wins you $260.
That's you $250.
Yeah. He's already a little higher than I would have expected.
I feel like beginning of the year we should have done that.
Yeah, I would, maybe a little struggle here in week 3. And,
you can get Sam Darnold plus 6,000.
You know I'm a believer of Sam Darnold, dog. I just picked him up on fantasy, starting him this week.
$10 wins you $610, Tom.
What's Kyler Murray at?
Kyler is at plus 2,500, same as Baker currently.
Really?
Wow. Warg, who you on in this game?
Yeah, so it's kind of an omen here. I'm already looking ahead to the next game because this is going to be kind of a snoozer in my opinion, but I think it's that way because Tampa Bay probably does look to make a statement here with Denver on the road. They haven't really showed us anything so far except for Bo Nix is good for about 2 interceptions per game, give or take. So always bet the over there, 1.5. You're not getting much value anymore. Yeah, Tampa Bay.
He's sprinkling everywhere.
All right, yeah. This one is more interesting. Like Wargo mentioned, Chargers traveling to Pittsburgh, -1.5.
Wargo, you got it.
Sure. Yeah, I have been doing some preliminary research, like I just outed myself for. Chargers. This is all from them. It looks like they've produced these articles, but on a quick Google, they rank first in defensive DVOA, which is apparently like a nerd stat. Luke, you got it? DVOA?
I do not know what DVOA stands for.
Okay. But their coverage grade in PFF, they're second, and then they're fourth in PFF for run defense. Got Joey Bosa, and all accounts look to Justin Fields playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I feel like when we played against the Chargers, we got exposed. We kept it close. I might just be making stuff up now.
Who
Pittsburgh? Give me Pittsburgh. The Bears.
We never played the Chargers.
Within the last, I feel like we played them maybe 2 years ago.
He's going.
I don't know.
This is a way different squad.
The Bears have played the Chargers at some point in the history of time.
Hold on.
You're on Pittsburgh.
Well,
wait,
you're on Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know how we got that.
I'm on the Chargers here, and specifically, it's because their offensive line is playing well. It's because of Jim Harbaugh. It's because he does have that defense playing very well. Joe Alt has tamed Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins. He went up against a Baltimore defense last week.
Oh my God. October 29th, 2023, Bears played the Chargers 13-30. Right here. All you guys making me feel dumb. Give me the Chargers. I'm changing my pick. They blew us out. Jeez Louise.
Okay. I think Justin Fields has been playing really well in this Pittsburgh offense to this point in the year. To all of our surprise, I'm sure. And I think that he reverts back to the Justin that we know this week. I think Jim Harbaugh, he just knows football. Mike Tomlin does as well, but when he gets put into a position where he has the opportunity to create a turnover-worthy play, I think there's going to be a couple of those in this game. And that is going to be the difference. I think the Chargers win this game, so I'm going to take them on the spread.
Interesting coaching matchup.
Yeah. I'm on the Chargers as well. What's the line?
1.5
Pittsburgh,
Steelers.
Yeah. Yep.
Really? Yeah, I think if there's a bet out there, take Justin Fields over 2 fumbles. He's gonna have 2 fumbles this game. I just have a feeling. So
Tom, maybe not give out gambling advice. It's a person who's never gambled before.
2 fumbles.
If you can Justin Fields 2 fumbles and up, take
over.
Doesn't matter the odds.
Over or under 2 fumbles. I'm gonna say, or 1 fumble. It's gonna be over.
I would think the line's probably at a half.
Yeah.
1.5. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's why I couldn't get there.
Specific.
Yeah, Chargers.
Nice.
So I will also be on the Chargers here. It's crazy to think that Pittsburgh is leading that division right now. I think it eventually kind of everything equalizes out there, and we see Pittsburgh potentially opening the door for Baltimore and Cincinnati to work their way back into towards the top of that division. And that's just one of those things where at the moment I can't in good faith pick the Steelers to win 3 games in a row to win this to start the season. I don't see this as a 3-0 team. Who knows? They a few years ago they started 11-0, and I think that was the year they played like Duck Hodges and like all those random quarterbacks. They somehow started off 11-0. It was like the people were like, this is the worst 11-0 team of all time. I don't think it's 11-0 this year, but I did see a quote from on Pardon My Takes Instagram page. New Mike Tomlinism was dropped. He said, "I can't give you all the ingredients to a hot dog. You might not like it." In response to a question from the media, which is that's just chef's kiss. And you gotta love Mike Tomlin. I do love that guy. Just a hell of a leader of men. But so is Jim Harbaugh. So I'm going to take the Chargers. Yeah,
I think, and just to touch one last point on this game, one of the most exciting matchups this week is going to be Joe Alt and TJ Watt, and to see what happens there. So definitely. I'll be tuning into that game.
Man, he's had a tough rookie start, dude. Joe Alt. Yeah.
He's done well.
So next we have New York Giants at Cleveland -6.5.
Dude, Cleveland surprised me last week a little. They played it. Watson played much better.
Wargo was the only guy who got Cleveland on the picks last week.
Yeah.
Believeland.
The Giants are just really. Danny Dimes did better too. He stayed. He didn't have any turnovers, I don't think. They didn't really throw him that much either. But what's the line? Sorry.
-6.5.
I'm going to go the Giants.
I think Cleveland's defense found themselves last weekend after the whooping they got from Dallas, and they're at home. The Giants, they don't have it, I don't think. Deshaun played better last week as well, so I'm going to take Cleveland. I think they win by a touchdown or more.
Tom, are you on Cleveland too?
Yeah, I'm going to switch it. I'm going to go Cleveland. Giants suck ass, dude.
That's funny. I am going to go the Giants here. 3 out of the first 4 games, we've all picked the same exact. We're all on the same side. I can't, in good conscience, go with Cleveland here. I need to go with New York. I definitely think that they're capable of covering. There are certain ways for New York to kind of
score touchdowns,
mitigate the mistakes that Daniel Jones can make is what I'm trying to say. Let him run the ball some more. Malik Neighbors looks spry. The way he moves is very twitchy. I think I hadn't seen him play until last week, and I watched some of that game. And when he got the ball in his hands, he was very exciting to watch. Running around guys with ease. So I think New York can keep it close and potentially maybe catch Cleveland on a bad week, an inconsistent team with inconsistent quarterback play, and keep it close and hopefully help me pull my way back into the overall pick standings.
Yeah, the Giants lost to the Commanders. I'm going to take the Browns.
Damn it. That's a good point.
I'm gonna amend mine. I'm gonna go with the Giants.
Ooh.
And it's because the Giants' defensive line has not played up to their potential this year yet. But with Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Brian Burns, they're gonna make it a difficult day in Cleveland for Deshaun Watson. So I'm gonna go the Giants here.
Jesse did not want me to get come back a point there.
No. Green Bay at Tennessee -2.
What was the line on that? 6.5?
Yeah.
You make some good points, Jesse. I'll just change based on the points that Jesse made.
All right, so Tom's the only one on Cleveland now, and he was the one who started on
That means it's a tough pick, y'all.
That means it's a tough pick, y'all. I think Vegas really dislikes Malik Willis. I think it's evident by this line here, despite the quarterback play for Tennessee the first 2 weeks and live footage of Brian Callahan looking at Will Levis on the field and saying, "What the fuck are you doing?" as he does another insane thing. They're still favored in this game against Green Bay, despite Green Bay looking very competent last week with Malik Willis at quarterback. Great example of, in my opinion, how good a coach LaFleur is. Like, they game planned the shit out of that offense last week and just set him up for success. I think he threw the ball. God, I can't remember now.
12 times?
Well, yeah, he was very efficient with the opportunities he was given in throwing the ball. And then, they utilized his feet and ran the ball well, too. Josh Jacobs looks like he's going to be a workhorse for them. Obviously, they got plenty of weapons. Wide receiver, 2 good tight ends. Their defense is good enough to put a fucking smackdown on Tennessee, I would think. So I think this is, again, disrespect on behalf of Vegas and maybe response to Malik Willis just not having shown a lot. But I think Green Bay is good enough to keep this close and potentially beat Tennessee.
At Tennessee?
At Tennessee, yeah.
I'm gonna take Tennessee in this one because Green Bay changed their offensive game plan so much last week. That tape's out there now. There's only so many different run plays you can do. We know Tennessee has a formidable run defense. Malik Willis is going to have to throw the ball a little bit for the Packers to win this game. And Brian Callahan.
Malik Willis revenge game. Remember that. Tennessee got rid of him.
I'm still going Tennessee. I'm still going Tennessee.
Wargs?
I mean, Jesse, you make some fair points with like the amount of runway that the Packers have with their simplistic offense that they've put in place from Malik. Josh Jacobs, though, is still a good running back. LaFleur, very competent head coach. Bears beat Tennessee at home, and we looked like dog shit. I mean, I could see it being a super sloppy game, but I think, 2 points, field goal, give me the Packers.
Yeah, I've been leaning the Tennessee just because they're at home, so I'm going to go with it.
Okay.
Houston.
City.
Houston at Minnesota +2.
Houston, Atlanta, Vegas.
I think that Minnesota got their win last week, and they're not going to win this week. And I think they're really good. I kind of predicted that Minnesota would be a dark horse this year.
Tom Stradamus looking into his crystal ball.
And, you know, they are. They got some good weapons. Their line's really good, and then their defense is coming to play every week. But I just think that 49ers wore them out, and Texans are good, man. I think they're going to win it.
I think if Justin Jefferson plays, Minnesota is going to have a better shot at winning this game and covering. Brian Flores, what he did to San Francisco's offense last week was a masterclass. Now, Houston's offense is a whole different animal. I think their receiving core is better. Their offensive line is in the same echelon of San Francisco. They're at home. I'm gonna go with Minnesota.
They're going to be banging those drums, dude.
Yes, they are.
So Jefferson right now is listed as questionable as a quadricep.
I think he'll play.
That kid's always hurt.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. I think he'll play as well. But I like Houston here, -2. And I think that CJ Stroud is a better quarterback than Brock Purdy, in my opinion, by a long shot. Brock Purdy, I believe, like a lot of other quarterbacks that have come through San Francisco, is a product of the Shanahan offense, and it can make people look really good when they're pretty mediocre and average. And I think you have elite talent with an elite offensive coordinator in Bobby Slowick with Houston. Houston beat us by 6 points. I don't see any reason why they can't beat Minnesota by 3 points. So I'm going to take Houston -2.
Yeah, we've got to have Houston win this game. I'm trying to will it into existence. So give me Houston.
They're a fun team to cheer for too. Like objectively, like
yeah.
I like Houston. I like DeMeco Ryans. I like CJ Stroud.
Dude, every time on Sunday night when they panned to their head coach, he was smiling. I swear, like every time.
Because he was kicking the shit out of us.
Tom, were you on Houston or are you on Minnesota?
Houston.
Okay, everybody but Jesse.
You guys like? Do you like their middle linebacker, Al-Shahir, who punched Roshan Johnson in the face?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Roshan just caught a complete stray. The way they call these games, they're just like
0 carries, 0 yards.
At one point, Aikman or Buck is like,
dude, just punched a guy.
Do you want it called on the field or do you want it called from the booth? Why can't it be both? Like, if a guy punches someone in the face and they didn't see it on the field, but it's, he the entire country saw it, they're like, well, do you want it called on the field? I want it called both. If there's a penalty somewhere, call the fucking penalty.
Yeah.
Okay? Like,
did he get fined for that?
I'm sure he probably did. And I'm sure that's probably how the NFL justifies not making that call on the field. But these like the last night's game, CJ Gardner-Johnson makes that play on 4th down, makes that big stop. And as he makes the tackle, his chin strap comes undone. And as he's getting up, he clearly takes his helmet and throws it off. And they're like, well, it fell off because of the tackle. guys, we're watching it on live television. It didn't. He took it off himself. It should have been a penalty. That guy, any opportunity the league gets to fine or penalize CJ Gardner-Johnson, they should take it. He is, he's one of those players that gets away with murder. He antagonizes every single team that he plays for. I'm sure he's a great guy to have on the team, on your team.
He's like Warren Sapp, dude.
But I don't get this whole officiating thing where it's like, well, like if there's not a flag thrown on the play, they can't review it.
There was on
that to me.
They threw a flag on that.
Who's that?
They picked it up. They picked up the flag.
They picked up the flag on CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Oh, I thought you were still talking about the Bears game. Roshan just catching a stray and just getting punched in the jaw on the sideline, and he did nothing, and he's just like, why did you just hit me in the face?
Yeah,
I don't even know why I have pads and a helmet on right now. I'm just here.
He tweeted like, dude was so close to me freaking out on him, basically, I think what he said.
Yeah.
But good job. Good on him because he would have got the penalty. What was that guy, that dirty player that was for Detroit? He was a lineman for Detroit, and then he went to
Tampa Bay.
Yes, thank you.
Donkey Kong Sue.
Little footnote to Luke's Brock Purdy comment. Go back and watch the week 1 footage of that game against the Jets and watch where he was putting those balls down the field in only spots where his wide receivers could catch them, and tell me that type of precision is found throughout the league, because it isn't.
I don't.
The reason he wasn't able to do that last week.
Degrade Brock Purdy. I just think he is benefiting greatly from being in that system. And part of what you're talking about is, yes, you have to be able to make throws, but it's your receivers, your tight ends, any of your skill position players always being in the correct place. The offense runs on rails, and if you're getting reps every single day in the off season, preseason, practice, where and you have 100% confidence, if I put the ball in the spot I've been putting it all this time, my guy's going to be there. So I get what you're saying. You have to have the skill to put the ball in that position, but it's also having this little thing in the back of your mind, knowing I just need to put it in the same position I always put it in, because that's where my guy's going to be. And that's how efficient that offense is. So that plays into it too.
But here's my point.
I don't dislike Brock Purdy. I just think he's benefiting.
My point is beyond Brock Purdy, though. What I'm trying to say is what Minnesota's defense did last week to San Francisco's offense was they didn't allow Brock Purdy to make those throws. And I think we will see the same with CJ Stroud this week. Philadelphia at New Orleans -2.5.
I would not have guessed that this is where this line would be at the beginning of the year. Not that you can typically see lines 3 weeks out, but wow. Clint Kubiak seems to have figured things out for New Orleans, and they've been really good the first 2 weeks. And Philly seems like a team that is kind of second guessing themselves, like with some of the decisions that are being made. I don't know if you put it on Sirianni or the new coordinators that they brought in.
Put it on. Well, the reason they lost that Atlanta game was 100% on Sirianni.
Well, 10% on Saquon.
If it was the offensive coordinator, but to throw that third down, and Saquon dropped the ball and the clock stopped, but that was such a bad call. They gave the Falcons the ball back.
They gave Kurt, dude.
When you have a play that only your team runs, and it works 90% of the time in the tush push, right?
Right.
And it's 3rd and 3. You run the ball 2 times. And I'm in complete agreement with you. They called a great play. If Saquon was wide open, he has to catch that ball. Like, he's got to catch that ball. But as a play caller and as a coaching staff, don't put your players in a position to, like, let's set them up to succeed, right? Like, you know what you have. The strength of your team is that offensive line. Line up behind them, run 2 tush pushes, game over. Run the clock out. And I love seeing Sirianni lose. There are a few things sweeter. I hate that guy. I hate his face. I hate his demeanor. He thinks he's better than everybody else until he's not. And then he gets up in front of the media and he's all butthurt that they're asking him why he's such a fucking moron. Sorry, bud. Like, it's the name of the game. So, it's that smug look he has on his face when they convert all of those 4th and 1s. Like, you had the opportunity to have the ultimate chance of sealing a game with that, and you wanted to throw the ball. Again, he's not a play caller. He's a guy who just oversees everything. But as an offense or as a head coach, you definitely have the say in that situation. Be like, I want to run it or I want to pass it here. So
not a great game manager.
That was I loved seeing it. I am going to go with Philly this week, though. I think they're a very emotional team. And it goes up to Sirianni. Like, they know they blew that game, and they are going to be pissed coming into this game against New Orleans. Kind of for the same reason that I didn't want to pick Pittsburgh. I just can't believe New Orleans is 2-0 at this point. And I think you're going to see Philly very motivated in this game, so I'm going to take Philly 2.5 plus 2.5. Had to go on a Sirianni rant.
I'm going to take Philly as well. I just feel like New Orleans isn't as – I mean, they're just playing ungodly good right now, and that just can't last ever in the NFL. So that's why I'm taking the Philly. I love what Derek Carr is doing. Alvin Kamara looks great. Jesse was right in fantasy before fantasy. I didn't believe him, but he's right. I think you were high on Alvin Kamara. But A.J. Brown maybe being out is a little bit of a question mark for me. But, yeah, I just think they're going to run. They're going to run it down the throat.
Yeah. I know we need to hurry this up here. Yeah, I mean, you guys made some good points. I just think the gravy train runs out of gas here, runs out of coal. And Philly rolls this one. Like you said, Luke, they're going to be looking to make a statement here. So give me Philly.
I was also going to take Philly, but since you all took Philly, I feel like I have to take New Orleans now.
Dude, you're so
I feel like that was my position last week, and it didn't bear well for me. So
why? I mean, I get, yes, the line is wank. It's wonky because of how good because of how good New Orleans has looked, right? But I think there's something to this. I don't like Philadelphia's secondary, and they have the big playability right now. I'll take New Orleans at home. Carolina at Las Vegas -5. I'm going to take Las Vegas.
Yeah, Las Vegas. I mean, well, Andy Dalton's coming in, dude. Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket, is coming in to play.
Turn that Red Rocket into a Red Rocket BB gun.
But that defense is real good. And I think Andy Dalton's, that's his first game. Yeah, I got to go with the Raiders.
He's got to go with the Raiders. I'm going to go Carolina here. I'm just going to keep riding them. Actually, I don't think I took them last week.
No, you didn't.
But I do think the change at quarterback is going to be a little bit of a shot in the arm for them. And I think Canales did a really good job in Tampa Bay last year. I think he seemed like a competent play caller. So with that, I don't see Vegas being a super great team at their foundation. I think Carolina can keep it close. I'll take them +5. Love Gardner though.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of valid points made there. Andy Dalton coming back. He's gonna be slinging it around. 5 points is a lot of points. It's at Las Vegas. Oh man, I want to take the Panthers here, but I'm not an idiot, so I'm gonna take the Raiders.
Miami at Seattle -4.5.
This is the only game that looks like there's weather in play in the sleepy Seattle. Who's going to be played better in the rain? 67, I think, or 63 degrees, a little chilly, rainy. I think Seattle is going to win. And who's the quarterback for the Dolphins?
I think Skylar Thompson is going to be playing in this game.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm going to take Seattle here as well.
They're in a bad place, the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's tough. Tua having to go on the IR as a result of the concussion. He just is there are people who get concussions and it's like, oh, they got a concussion. And then there's people who are like, oh, he got a concussion. And it's like national news because it looks so bad, right?
Yeah.
And that's Tua, obviously. He can't be concussed without it looking super bad.
Yeah.
Hopefully Tua long-term doesn't see any issues. Hopefully he gets to play in the league for a long time. But without him in that offense, I just don't see them being as explosive. And Seattle is most likely going to zone in on that run game for Miami and try to take that away and just say, hey, Skylar Thompson, you're going to have to beat us. Obviously he's got some weapons, but I like Seattle at home here, -4.5.
I'll take Miami. I think Mike McDaniel is a good head coach, and he'll figure out a game plan to get Skylar Thompson comfortable and getting the ball into the hands of all the weapons that Miami still has on offense. And let's not forget, this Miami defense has a lot of good players as well. So 4.5 points is a lot. I'll take Miami in this one.
Wargs eating again, probably.
Hey, take it easy. Open your eyes, bud. Yikes.
What?
So Miami had a long time to recover from the injury. They were playing Thursday night football for everyone to see.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, McDaniel, competent coach. He's not ignorant to the fact that he is without his starting quarterback for undetermined amount of time. I don't know. Skylar Thompson's played a few games. Still got a lot of weapons. Pretty competent defense. Game is being played in Seattle. Yikes, that's a long way to travel. 12th man, give me Seattle.
San Francisco at the LA Rams +7. This Rams roster is just
dog shit.
I mean, it's not. They've just been diminished and depleted by the injuries.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to go San Francisco here.
Yeah,
obviously this is a tough line being 7 points, but I think San Francisco gets a nice bounce back.
I mean, they just got blown crap out by Cardinals. They're in a tough place right now, so I got to go San Fran as well. I'm feeling good about my picks this week, boys.
So unlike the last game, this is less distance to travel here. We are staying within the same state to play here. So the road game's less impactful, and then you're playing at LA Rams, which nobody goes to those games because it's in LA.
I would love to go to SoFi Stadium, dude.
Yeah, I think Niners make a statement here. Yeah.
I don't know any of the wide receivers of the Rams right now. Robinson, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
That is one.
He looked Robinson, okay. He did look okay.
Tutu Atwell, some guy named Whittingham.
But they do still have Kyron Williams.
Tyler Johnson.
but they don't have an offensive line. So
they don't have an offensive line.
I think the Rams are just the Rams are just too dinged up here for me. I'll take San Francisco coming off a loss in Minnesota, coming back motivated, can a win in division, and it will essentially be a home game for.
I did have a reminder that just came up here. Just shout out to the chain gang last week, dude.
Oh yeah.
What happened at Sunday night, and then I saw again it happened at a different game. CPR, and then the other guy just fell over, and
I didn't see the CPR.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
Well,
the guy who bonked his head in the Bears Texans game.
He fell over.
He was having a two-way experience. Like he looked bad. Like
the yard line marker got him.
When you first see it, you're like, oh, they rolled up on him, and then you realize that he was actually like 10 yards away from anything, and he just tripped and hit his head, and you're like, that sucks.
He was so he looked so sad, dude.
They had to bring a cart out, and like it was like the whole time it was like, is he like there? Like he looks like a guy who it's like you hear the story about the guy who like falls off the roof and he forgets who he is, that's what it looked like. He's like, he doesn't know, he wouldn't know his wife if she walked up in front of him at that point.
Yeah. Well, then there was a guy had to get CPR in the Ravens Raiders game.
Did not see that.
But he's okay. He came back, I guess. So
hopefully they're all good.
Yeah. Anyways, I just had a reminder on my phone that came up, and I had to say that.
How many breaths for every compression?
I'm CPR certified, baby.
15 to 1.
I thought it was 20 to 1.
I don't know.
Maybe it's different elevation.
If you have a baby that's choking, you smack it on the back.
How do you give CPR to babies?
Yeah, with 2 fingers.
Bang. All right. Moving right along.
Detroit.
Hey, if you want to save your baby's life, listen to me. You don't be shy.
We went to Pawtoberfest. Shout out Pawtoberfest, Pikes Peak Humane Society, and they were doing doggy CPR down there.
Damn. That's a nice shirt, dog.
Great shirt. Check out our next video on how to do doggy and baby CPR. We'll make sure to get that out to you guys.
Joking.
Oh my God, we got 5 left, boys. We got to do
Detroit at Arizona +3.
That's a weird line. Tom, you guessed it earlier. Give me Arizona +3 at home. That's weird. That's weird to me.
Yeah, Detroit's offense didn't look as impactful as they have.
Less dynamic.
Yeah, something happened. I don't know. Goff wasn't hitting his passes as well. I think Arizona coming off that big win, they're feeling themselves a little bit, and I'm gonna take Arizona.
Bro, I'm gonna take Arizona as well.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm going Detroit. Rare opportunity for Jared Goff to play a road game in a dome. Detroit is by far the more superior team in terms of talent on the roster. Obviously, again, coming off a tough loss last week to Tampa Bay at home for kind of the same reason that I was talking about Philly bouncing back. Like they seem like a team that is if they have a bulletin board material type situation where it's like, we're getting disrespected, this and that and the other, emotional head coach that's not necessarily there making play calls. Dan Campbell, love the guy. I think he gets them up and ready to play against Arizona. And I'll take Detroit -3 to cover.
Kyler Murray last week had one of the most incredible quarterback performances that I've seen in some time. LA Rams defense isn't as good as Detroit's up front. Detroit's a little weak on the back end, though. And I think Kyler is going to be able to make some opportunities with his legs, get out of the pocket. When those plays break down, those wide receivers can get open, and he can throw the ball downfield, even if he is Baby Yoda. But yeah, Grogu. Baltimore at Dallas +1. I'm going to go with Dallas here at home. They got embarrassed last week at home by New Orleans. Baltimore is faltering. Not sure what's going on there, but I think Dallas gets right in this one. I think it's, I don't know that they should be home underdogs here, so I'm going to take them.
Yeah, home dog seems crazy after one misstep at home for Dallas. I think Jerry probably showed up in the locker room after that game and gave the boys a stern talking to, just how he felt. And for that reason, wouldn't motivate me, but I think it's going to motivate the team. And they've got to win this. I think they know they've got to win this. And we haven't really seen that much from the Ravens. I mean, Derrick Henry, they've used him very sparingly, which makes sense. He's an older back. You don't want to put a ton of miles on him at the front end of the season there. But it just doesn't seem like they have a cohesive offense. Their defense has been kind of shaky at times, mostly within the secondary. Could just be making that up. But, don't like Baltimore. Do like Dallas in this particular game. Outside of this game, different story.
Luke?
I think both teams need a win here. Obviously, Baltimore being 0-2 right now is not something I would have expected to see. I think I'm going to go Baltimore. I don't know why.
I'm with
them to just get a win.
Yeah, 0-2. They got to get a win here. I think, I want them to run the ball, but they probably won't. Getting late, dude. I'm getting weird.
Kansas City at Atlanta +3.5.
Kurt. I thought they were. No, that's not Kurt. Who's Kurt? He's you like that? You like that? He had some composure after that game-winning drive. Like to see that.
I feel like you and Kirk would be like soulmates, honestly. No joke. I feel like you guys would be very, very good friends.
I liked how they played. Is it good enough to beat the Chiefs? Were they playing?
Atlanta.
Yeah. I'm gonna take it. What's the spread? Sorry.
+3.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Falcons. Screw it.
I like over for the number of times Tom's asked for the spread is not hit there.
4 times. All right.
I'm going with Atlanta too.
You guys are insane.
I'm with Tom. Keep it close. I don't think they win, but I do think they keep it close. I could see KC winning on a 60-yard field goal from Harrison Butker, or some stupid shit like that. So even if that happens, Atlanta covers. So
it's a late hit out of bounds, 15-yard penalty.
I think the Chiefs are counting their wins here. They're trying to establish themselves within the AFC. Yeah, Atlanta, I feel like we're a little bit awestruck about what happened on Monday Night Football recently. It's fresh in our brain. It's pretty good. Kirk had a game-winning drive. But yeah, no, it's still the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not the same Kansas City Chiefs. Give me KC, though.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes' kryptonite is Cincinnati. This team isn't Cincinnati. This team's Atlanta. Yes, they lost Pacheco. Pacheco.
I have Pacheco, McCaffrey, and Puka Nacua out. in my fantasy.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, I just think
Just kidding, Tom. I care. I care a lot.
Patrick will get it done. They'll win by four or more. Jacksonville at Buffalo -5.
Jesse?
Yeah, I'll take Buffalo here. They've looked good. Their offense is balanced. James Cook looks good. Allen looks good. I think they're still working on these young receiving core. In addition to Dalton Kincaid, but Jacksonville, they just the last couple of years have been like middle of the road to me. I think Buffalo wins by more than 5. I'm gonna go with them.
I'm gonna go Buffalo as well. Jacksonville just not looking until they can prove that they have an offense. I can't trust them, and I can trust Josh Allen. So Bills at home too.
Yeah, I was
like Jacksonville. Go ahead, Warga.
Oh yeah, no, I'm on Buffalo here. I was doing a lot of research as to see. I saw some stat, and there was some Matt Berry show on Amazon TV, so I was watching it for a little bit after work today. Baker Mayfield has the most points in fantasy football, which is absurd to me. But the most of what I was finding when I was doing the research was saying the number one matchup for this coming week, which a lot of people had Josh Allen versus Jacksonville being the highest valued quarterback going into this week's matchups for week 3. So, yeah, I think he continues to cook. Home favorites here. This line didn't make sense to me. That's why I picked it for you in TomJim's. So, yeah, give me Buffalo and Josh Allen. They'll keep cooking here.
We get 2 Monday night football games this week.
Whoa.
Last game, Commanders and the Bengals.
Luke, you took Jacksonville?
It feels like Jacksonville needs a win, but I'm going to go Buffalo -5.
Yeah, good idea. Washington at Cincinnati -7.5.
Jesus, it's a big line. That was going to be
my defense isn't very good. Cincinnati's starting to figure it out. Obviously, they played the Chiefs down to the wire last week. This game's at home. Yes, they played terrible at home in the first game against New England, but Washington's a young team. It's a lot of points. But I don't know. I'll take Washington.
It's just Cincy at home, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Joe Burrow's got an extra day to work. I got to go Bengals here. I was going to have this locked in as my lock pick or whatever, but the spread really is high. So that is not my lock pick. Go back to the drawing board on that one.
Yeah, actually had not been thinking about that. I know you remind us throughout, Tom, normally, so I'm going to blame you for that. This is a tough one, though. It's a lot of points. I'm going to go back to the fact that Vegas doesn't give out this many points unless they are very certain in the winner in this game, which is not really proved to have been the case this year. There have been some large upsets that have happened already in these 2 games, but I think we're going to revert back to the mean, and we're going to have Cincy blow out Washington.
Yeah, I like Cincy too. Coming off a game they should have won at KC. Again, they at 0-2 in that division right now. They need to get a win, and a convincing win against a team that's just not there yet with Washington.
They look good, though. They look good. Very frisky team, Washington.
All right, what are we thinking in terms of locks for the week?
I'm going to take Houston -2.
Whoa. I'm really looking to make some points up on
Houston
Jesse there.
Locked in for Luke. I'm going to lock in Dallas over Baltimore at home.
Hey.
Oh, fuck.
I want to surprise everybody and pick the Bears, but I think I'm going to go Bucks over Broncos.
What was that line again? I'm missing it.
6.5.
Minus 6.5.
I see it over the top,
What?
right next to what I was looking at.
The Bucks is? I thought it was 3.
No.
God, no, I'm not going to take the asterisk off my name.
Oh, I'll take mine if you want a little more time to deliberate, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take Chargers on the road.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bears.
Whoa, dramatic effect.
I'll take the Bears. This is a Bears podcast. Like,
all right, boys. We are locked in for week 3 of the NFL action.
Let's do it. Okay. We done?
I feel good.
Thanks for joining us. Remember, I'm on a hot streak, so if you're making your bets based off of what we're saying, you're going to want to follow me. Okay?
Fade Luke.
Like and subscribe. Bear down.
Come back season.